Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Today's writing prompt for your Serenity Prayer Daily Reflection Listener Challenge is: describe a recent experience where accepting reality as it is led to unexpected joy or relief. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I have a tickle in my throat. I've had it all day, and I will try not to keep coughing, but we'll see what happens. I like to talk like we're just sitting on the couch having a conversation anyway, so just imagine I'm coughing in your face. Okay. So today's topic is interesting. This is something that got me a little depressed a couple months into my recent stroke recovery. And the topic is about how individuals that are in recovery, be it from stroke, somebody battling a chronic illness, somebody who has just entered into sobriety, where you once found a robust support network around you and it slowly wanes. Sorry, I told you, I forewarned you. And it is a reality that I faced. I kind of saw that it was going to happen before it even happened, and I shouldn't have done that. But I couldn't help but think there's no way all these people are going to continue to be reaching out to me constantly. I mean, I loved it. It was so nice to be receiving phone calls and flowers and, people wanting to come visit me, go for a walk with me, that kind of thing. But it becomes, what I'm going to talk about is why this happens and how we can, as the patient, as the person who is in recovery, how we can nurture our support network to try to keep it strong, refreshed, sustained over time. And I have absolutely observed that I have not been doing this, and I'm going to make an effort to try to work on it a little bit. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I did, in fact, experience this gradual fade in the initial stages. So I would say after a couple months. So I left work in June of last year. And then after a couple months, there is this layer of support that kind of fades over time. You get that initial outpouring of support and concern from friends, family, and a broader community that rally around us. But as time moves on, this initial surge can diminish, and several factors contribute to this gradual fade. So I want to talk about that because I was listening to the book of the month. I'm still listening to it. And that's what she mentions in one of the chapters. She actually talks about the how you can draw circles around the different layers of support that you have around you in recovery, and how each layer, the next layer outside of that, is where that inner layer should rely on for support. So, for example, and this is Deborah Meyerson in Identity Theft. That's the book that I'm referring to. So what she talks about is, so say I'm the person in recovery So in the inner circle, I have my husband. Okay. And then in the next circle, I have my kids, my mom, my sister, my brother, my dad, my stepmom. And then the circle around them is going to be their immediate family. And then the circle around them is friends and family. You know what I mean? So um, we lean on the next circle for support and so on. And I thought that was an interesting concept, but it really, I don't know, it's not really that straightforward for me. So these are a few of the factors why there is a gradual fade in that kind of broader community support and friends and family. So one, there is sometimes a misunderstanding of the recovery timeline. So many people outside of the immediate experience might not understand that recovery or living with a chronic condition like vestibular disorder, which is what mine appears to be, how it is a lifelong, it's at least long term, if not many of these are lifelong journeys. And it's interesting because when I had my stroke at first, I didn't even recognize that this was going to be a lifelong journey, honestly, and neither did my family. So why would anybody else around us realize that, you know? So when I left my job 9 months ago, I went on short-term disability. That's where I had that outpouring of support. And then it started to kind of fade a little bit, and I'll talk about why I feel that happened. It's not a bad thing, it's normal. But it was when I had to go on to long-term disability and leave my job officially that I think the people around me understood what kind of long-term recovery I was looking at. That I even understood, because I didn't understand that the whole time that I was dealing with this. So the second factor contributing to this gradual fade of support is life's demands, on our supporters. They're navigating their own lives and they've got their own personal challenges and responsibilities. So, say all these people that I worked with that were sending me flowers and sending me gifts and, self-care gifts, I should say, to be clear, um, they're getting back into the swing of things, because even more so when people are leaving, somebody leaves due to an illness, they've got to pick up the slack. And so they might even be more busy than they were before, when you were actually working with them. So the next one is compassion fatigue. And I thought, so this is what I felt like after the first couple months when, the flowers stopped coming, when the normal started happening. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that people are going to get burnt out. Um, People that are closest to me, especially, people who I talk to on a daily or weekly basis, asking me, how are you doing? How are you feeling? When I have to continuously say, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. There is what I read today, they call it compassion fatigue. And it's a form of burnout. especially for people that are deeply involved in our day-to-day care. So the dwindling of this kind of support, although it's very understandable, can feel to someone in recovery like we're starting to feel isolated. That's how I felt. I started to feel that isolation, Of course I did. I wasn't a part of anymore. I wasn't able to join in the conversations with these folks that I worked with. I was no longer had that level of conversation that bonded us together. So just when I've started to navigate this complexity of my new normal, trying to understand, how am I going to live like this day to day? How am I going to entertain myself when I can't look at digital devices? I can't go for a walk. So having that reduction in communicating with folks around me, it not only affected my emotional well-being during that time, and I'm still pushing through it, but I do feel isolated a lot. And that feeling can impact my, depression and having to talk to my psychiatrist. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's why I had to end up reaching out to a psychiatrist. But it can definitely have a tangible impact on someone's recovery as they start feeling that support dwindle over time. So here are some strategies that I've found. Despite all of these challenges, here are proactive steps for how we can nurture our own support networks and even grow them. So I feel like this is a really good topic. Okay, so there are 6 of them. And I'm starting to feel like the book of the month that we read, where it was just numbering things constantly. You know which one I'm talking about if you read the book. Yeah. So I have another numbering I'm doing again today. All right. So these are proactive steps to nurture our support networks. Number 1, open communication. So regularly sharing my journey realities with my network. Use updates to educate the people around me on my progress, the challenges I still face, and how their support makes a difference for me. Their individual support makes a difference for me. So I have absolutely started to shut down slightly and stop providing regular shares to people around me, even my family. There are, after the past week when I was feeling this extreme, like just unable to explain to you how difficult it was, this fatigue, I didn't really explain to anybody how terrible it was. I did. I think my husband certainly could notice it because I wasn't able to get out of bed, but I really didn't communicate it too much. Might be because I was sleeping so much. I didn't communicate to anybody very much. But I just, for example, explained to my sponsor tonight, right before I hit record, about what was going on and why I didn't respond to a text she sent me on Thursday, because I just could barely even function. So although it is going to be challenging at times to reach out when I'm feeling that way, it's important to be able to let people know that are close to me what is really going on. How bad is it? I didn't do that, I think, as well as I could have over the past week. So I'm going to try to do that a little better. I did reach out to my family tonight and say, good news, I feel better than I did last week. So, number one, open communication. Number two is diversify your support network. So look beyond your immediate circle to support groups, online communities, and organizations related to your condition. I have tried to do this, but I have been lacking a lot lately. I have not gone to my support groups that I haven't been for 2 months to my stroke support group, and I miss them, but I get the email like the day before that has the time and the login information, and if I don't check my email during that 24 hours, then I miss it, unfortunately. So that has happened 2 months in a row. Hopefully I'll be able to make it this coming month. So actively looking for these support groups has been crucial for me. I have found that it is so important that it is worth, I talked yesterday about pacing yourself, pacing your energy. So saving any time that I'm going to look at my computer. Yes, I'm still working on voiceover. I'll get to that in a minute. But pacing myself so that if I'm going to look at my computer for anything, use it for my recovery, use it to find support groups and that kind of thing. So, side note, no, I have not moved 100% over to voiceover. I need to come clean on that. As my vestibular therapy picked up, I lost my prioritization of voiceover. So I actually wasn't going on my computer at all over the past week, other than to record. And even that, I missed a day and did like a really short recording a few days ago. So I have reset my goal for voiceover. And I'm not beating myself up about it. It's okay. It's okie dokie. So I'm going to continue to work on my diagrams so that I have something on paper to look at for my voiceover. So I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks I'll be fully switched over. So how about we set another goal right now, and we will set it for March 30th to be switched over to voiceover. So let's see what happens. Okay. So diversify your support network. These other platforms can offer understanding and empathy because often they are experiencing the same thing as you. Number 3, set clear needs. And this is something that Deb talked about, the author talked about in the book, and that is to be specific about the kind of support you need. Whether it's help with a specific daily task, like taking your dog for a walk, or if you need someone to talk to once a day, if you need a ride to an appointment. Clear requests can make it a lot easier for the person who wants to help you. And often, so what the author talks about in the book is when you're the person trying to offer somebody support, offer specific support. Can I bring you some homemade soup? Period. Not say, can I bring you a meal? Or not say, can I stop by sometime? Or what can I do to help you? Instead, be really, really specific about what you want to do to help so that they can just say yes or no. Because if you're vague about the support you want to provide, it really puts more pressure on the person in recovery to figure out what they can do, what you can do to help them. So that made a lot of sense to me. So it works in the same way going in the other direction. So if I need help, I need to specifically ask for the particular thing that I need help with. So, next one we have is reciprocate in kind. Support networks thrive on reciprocity. Show interest and offer support to your network in their times of need, and this builds a stronger, more resilient relationship. I just found out 2 days ago, I guess it's been 3 days now, that my niece has been suffering from migraines. And I thought, this is so important that I make sure that she knows that I am here for her. And what I ended up doing this morning is I shared some links that I was aware of for how to self-massage your own like scalp, and I think I was talking about it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, about self-massage. So I sent that to her, and it felt good, right? It felt good to actually try to help other people. So I also reached out to another woman in sobriety who faced a challenging situation on an airplane. And I was thinking about her for the following 24 hours after she had shared what she experienced. So this morning I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. Are you doing okay? I can imagine that if I had experienced the same thing that you did, I would have a really difficult time not thinking about alcohol." So what happened was she accidentally was served wine and didn't realize it until after she took a sip. So anyway, I feel like had the situation been the same for me, what would I have done? Would I have gotten up from my seat and taken it back to the flight attendant? I was trying to think of the appropriate word for it. The flight attendant, or would I have sat and drank it? After I had already had a sip? Whew. So it's challenging. And I was able to put myself in her shoes and recognize that, hey, this, it might be nice to hear from another sober woman. And in return, she said, "How about we talk sometime this week over the phone?" Well, that's going to be good for both of us, right? So reciprocating is giving back to folks. And not only am I giving back, but that was growing my support network. This isn't a lady that I talk to on a regular basis. She's in my meeting in the mornings, but we don't typically talk on the phone a lot. So maybe this is going to be the start of an additional strong relationship in my network. So that's exciting. I love new friends. I'm like a 5-year-old when I get a new friend. Okay, number 5, celebrate milestones. Acknowledge and celebrate the milestones in your recovery with your support network. This reinforces the value of their support and reminds everyone of the progress being made. So like I did this morning, or this evening I should say, I sent a update to my family and said, "Good news, I'm feeling better." What I probably should have said is, "I'm feeling better. Thanks so much for, coming to visit me, sharing your concern about how that's what and maybe I'll do that after I hit stop on my podcast recording, because I think it's important for me to not only say, hey, this is how I'm feeling, me, but also say, this is how you helped me during that time, you. So celebrate milestones. And then last but not least, number 6, professional support. Sometimes it's necessary to seek professional help. So this is what I have done, and I am finding that it was one of the best moves I've made. I'm glad I did it when I did it, because I felt myself slipping, emotionally slipping, mentally feeling just not right, untrustworthy. I was starting to not trust myself. And by that, I mean making sure that I don't pick up a drink, making sure that I don't start looking for ways to escape in whatever way that might be. So, therapists, counselors, they can provide support that you need to navigate your recovery and offer strategies. And sometimes I feel like I have all the answers. Oh, I know what they're going to tell me to do, Well, I don't know all the answers, and I don't know what they're going to tell me to do. And sometimes, even if I do know what they're going to say, it's nice to freaking hear it. It was nice last week to have my psychiatrist say, you know what, Rachel, let's scrap all the goals this week. I want to have your goal self-care. That's what I needed somebody to tell me that. I needed somebody to say, look, Rachel, you've got a lot going on. You're trying, you're working really hard, and that's great, but let's just sit back for a few days and just take care of Rachel. Like, take a shower, light a candle, just relax, listen to your book, lay on the floor, get a massage. And that's what made me feel like it's okay to feel the way that I feel. And when I went to the vestibular therapist, same thing. I said, I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know how these exercises are making me feel this terrible. Like, I feel like I am removed from my body. I am just so tired. And she said, it's not a surprise. Lay down on this. She had like a I don't know, doctor, physical therapist kind of bed in there. And she's like, lay on this bed, put your head on the pillow, shut your eyes, and we're just going to meditate for a few minutes. And then she massaged my scalp. And it was, again, so nice to have somebody say, yeah, I hear you. And your feeling of fatigue is justified, and we're going to take some time to relax and to take care of you. So 2 professionals were like, okay, let's just slow down. And I needed that. I got it when I needed it. So professional support, I can't say enough about it. When you're not getting it, it seems like, what's the point? What's it going to do for me? I know what they're going to say. How is this going to make me feel any better? I'm the smartest person in the room. That's how I feel. I say it jokingly, but I really feel that way. Like, what is somebody going to say to me that I haven't already read on the internet, that I haven't already heard in a podcast, that I haven't already dreamed up myself, that my mom and dad hasn't told me, that, well, it's happening for me. It's happening where they're sharing things with me that I just can't figure out on my own. And that's so important and so life-saving, really. So while it is disheartening to feel the support network around you diminish, it is a challenge that with intention and effort can be mitigated. And by taking proactive steps to engage with people around you, whether it's your family, friends, or a wider network, log on to one of those support groups and say something. Because when I did this months ago, you recall, I told my stroke network that I was in recovery, and they all just stopped what they were doing, and everybody applauded me that I was sober through all of that. Like, that meant so much to me. So engaging in ways that you didn't even know that you could, or how the reaction is going to be from others, is just has been astounding for me. So important. Educating the people around me, letting them know this is what's going on, and this is how my doctors are approaching the situation now. I've been trying to do that a little more with my kids and letting them know, if I'm not feeling well, I'm trying to tell them that I'm not feeling well. I had been just not telling them because I figure, I just want them to enjoy, be carefree, enjoy their lives, what's going on. They're independent. They shouldn't have to worry about their mom. But it's important for them. They're a part of this whole thing. They have been there since I had my stroke, and it's important for them to be a part of my recovery. And it's important to express my love for them, by telling them what's going on with me, the good, the bad, and the terribly, terribly fatiguing. So that's what I've been trying to do, and to express gratitude. So after I finish recording, I'm going to express a little more gratitude to my brother, my sister, and my mom. And by doing this, we can foster a growing network that sustains through the long haul for recovery. And this strength of community isn't just for the purpose of having an immediate response for a crisis. It's really to work on having a sustained and collective journey with a network of people towards healing and constantly building that resilience for the next thing that's coming. Okay, yeah, so that's what I've got. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and thanks for joining me today on the Recovery Daily podcast. I'll talk to you tomorrow.